This couple in their early 30s put some moves in place that saved them almost $10,000 in tax, got them investment upside of over 20 grand in just 12 months, and put them on a path to make over $1 million through just the moves made in a short amount of time. I wanted to unpack their story so that you can learn from what they did. So these guys were in their early 30s, combined household income $260,000. Their net assets were $370K, which was largely cash, a little bit in super, and a small investment portfolio. They wanted to get their dream home, but again, Sydney property market, that it seemed like that was going to be a really big undertaking that was going to be pretty far away. They were doing a bit of investing, they were sort of dabbling, but doing it without a lot of confidence because they didn't really understand investment markets, and they were getting hammered with tax bills, high household income. They knew that there must have been a smarter way, but didn't really know where to start. Now, when we got into the planning process, what we realized was that for this couple, the higher income earner was the lady. She was the one that was a bit more financially focused. Being the higher income earner, she was a little bit more driven around the money, I suppose. And so she wanted to start investing, open up an investment account, and was the one that really led the charge with that stuff. The downside of that was, though, that as their investments built, that the investment income was adding on to her income, which is already in the top marginal tax rate. So they were getting hammered with extra tax on that income. They realized that by switching out their investments and putting it into the lower income partner's name, they would pay a lot less tax on that income. On top of that, they leveraged the First Home Super Saver Scheme to save a bunch of tax, top up their super, and get closer to their dream home faster. And as a result of making those changes, they saved over $8,500 in tax in the first 12 months alone, made over $20,000 in investment upside. And when we extrapolated that out by age 60, the moves that they made in just that 12-month period would make them $937,000 better off. Now, that was an awesome result, and these guys were pumped. But for these guys, they said to us after we got into the process that they'd actually been thinking about making these changes for a couple of years. They just didn't do it for a whole bunch of different reasons. But when we started adding up the numbers, we realized that if they had pulled the trigger on those changes 2 years sooner, that they're, instead of making $937,000, they would have made $1.14 million. So the opportunity cost of them sitting on that for 2 years was $202,280. Now, money's one of these things that it's really easy for life to get in the way, but when you're sitting there, there's often this low-hanging fruit that can get you better results from the money that you've got. So you want to take the time to get that right and get the most out of what you already have.